There was not a grand jury going on, perhaps there would be a candlelight vigil. If there was not a sense that there's some movement in the investigation, maybe we would have a candlelight vigil.
4 alternate jurors were dismissed today from the JonBenet grand jury, and informed sources say this means prosecutor Michael Caine will ask the panel to indict either John or Pat.
Peter, it's Lou. Listen, I know Caine thinks I'm crazy, but could you ask him to at least hear me out? Please. Let me at least sit down with Caine's assistants. I believe that an intruder intending to kidnap and molest JonBenet came to the Ramseys' house, bringing with him cord, duct tape, and a stun gun. He searched the house for a point of entry and discovered that every door and window is wired to an alarm. After discovering an open and broken cellar window, he climbed in, leaving a scuff mark. There's fresh entry at that window. Then he made his way upstairs looking to write a ransom note on the premises so that neither paper nor ink could be traced back to him. After finishing the note, he returned to the cellar to wait. The Ramseys come home. They go to bed, after which the intruder goes to JonBenet's room, knocks her out with a stun gun, tapes her mouth, binds her hands and feet, and wraps her in her blanket to keep her warm from the winter cold. He's intending to take her with him. Scared that an alarm might go off if he opens the door to the outside, he returns to the basement with JonBenet. She wakes up and screams. He silences her with his flashlight, quickly takes the cord used to bind her feet, makes a garrote, kills her, and hides her in the wine cellar. Then, using a suitcase to stand on, he leaves by the same window he came in through.
Good presentation, Lou. I take this to Caine. I'm asking him to shoot himself in the foot.
You have to recognize that I feel conscience bound to present.
Are you saying you'll go public?
I repeat, I'm conscience bound.
But if you're invited into the grand jury room, your remarks will be sealed.
I want the grand jury to be able to decide fairly. That's far more important to me than public exposure.
Courthouse observers are speculating that the appearance of Lou Smit and John Douglas before the grand jury could create enough doubt among the jurors to thwart efforts to bring an indictment in the JonBenet Ramsey case.
See, if we indict and bring this to trial, you can't argue, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the evidence of this case is very clear. Either Mr. or Mrs. Ramsey killed their child and the other one covered it up. Well, I mean, that may work in the movies. But if you can't show which one of them did it, there's nothing you can prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, Mike, I've been in every grand jury session with you. And I don't know. Now, it's yours to run. I have to sign any true bill you bring in. So I'm asking you, is the case there?
In Atlanta, the only way we could shake the press was to keep moving from motel to motel. What's happening here?
If you're indicted, you'll be arrested. Caine won't make a deal unless you surrender. He must want to see you do a birth walk in shackles on the evening news.
All right.
After more than a year tethered to the JonBenet Ramsey murder probe, 12 Boulder County grand jurors appear ready to go home and perhaps ready to relinquish the case they've come to know so well. One juror even snapped pictures of the media, prompting speculation that the grand jury is nearly finished.
I think it's time to let things go with that one for sure. You know, the cops definitely should keep the investigation ongoing, but, you know, the hype going around and people talking about it all over the nation still and stuff, it's like beating a dead horse.
On the last day of deliberations, the Boulder grand jury had county escorts to buffer them against a media that was growing ever impatient. By 3:30, the 12 Boulder County residents exchanged hugs and walked away from the JonBenet Ramsey case for good. Soon, word was out that a significant announcement was about to be made. A mob of cameras, mics, and cell phones descended on the Justice Center.
We're going to have a statement, but it won't be for at least 30 minutes. Let my people through.
Sir? You guys look like you're standing around at the Vatican waiting for a puff of smoke.
Mr. Kane, why do you look upset?
This grand jury has been working on this case for more than a year. We're going to be going to Alex Hunter very soon. Let's go back to the studio right now.
Thanks, Raj. News 4's Brian Moss has been waiting for Alex Hunter to come out.
Let's go to Brian now. Brian?
Hi, Bill. Alex Hunter is just leaving the DA's office right now. We're walking alongside him. He's heading to a position over by Boulder Creek. In his left hand, several pages of material. He's wearing a gray pinstripe suit. He has a statement in his hand. Alex Hunter, after the grand jury process, about to make his statement as he heads towards the podium position, wearing a red tie. But we'll now obviously hear from him live as he steps up.
And we're going to be giving you an order from Judge Stansted, who, by the way, is sitting in for Roxanne Balin, who is not available today. So you are going to have those in your hands, and they deal with grand jury secrecy, which you will see, and most of you know, is extremely important and involved in all the remarks that I will make. At least it's guiding me in my remarks, and we'll have those for you. The Boulder Grand Jury has completed its work and will not return. No charges have been filed. The grand jurors have done their work extraordinarily well, bringing to bear their legal powers, life experiences, and shrewdness. Yet I must report to you that I and my prosecution task force believe we do not have sufficient evidence to warrant the filing of charges against anyone.
Logic says she probably did it.
Logic isn't evidence. In any case, how often is murder logical?
I'm sure of it. Patsy killed her.
No, Steve. A stranger killed her.
No. It wasn't a stranger.
A stranger named Patsy Ramsey killed her.
The Ramsey case has forever changed the lives of many of the men and women involved in the investigation. Commander John Eller resigned from the Boulder Police Department. He currently is an investigator for the Florida State Attorney General's office. As a result of a no-confidence vote by the Boulder Police Department's union and pressure from the case, Chief Tom Kobe resigned in 1998. He now works in the nonprofit sector. Detective Steve Thomas, who also resigned from the Boulder Police Department, is now writing a book about the case. Late in 1999, nearly 3 years after JonBenet's murder, Alex Hunter's office officially cleared Janet and Bill McReynolds as suspects in the case. Hunter himself, having served 6 terms as district attorney, has decided not to seek re-election. In a pending action, Detective Linda Arndt sued the Boulder Police Department, alleging she was denied her First Amendment rights. Following his resignation from the Globe newspaper, Jeff Shapiro remained in Boulder, Colorado, and recently worked as a substitute teacher. After resigning as an investigator for the Boulder District Attorney's Office, Lou Smit is still investigating the case on his own. He remains convinced an intruder killed JonBenet. John and Patsy Ramsey currently live in Atlanta. They have filed a lawsuit against the Star newspaper and are writing a book about what has transpired during the last 3 years.